Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In case you don't know it, I'm really glad to see you here today. What I'm going to do today is consume and review a homemade MRE that I made for myself. MRE, for you guys who don't know, a lot of you guys do know because there's a whole industry of YouTubers out there making MRE tasting and review videos, but MREs are meals ready to eat. Now, meals ready to eat, in my opinion, are primarily for military type people. They pack down light, and these guys can take them out in the field and consume them. And also there's the humanitarian MREs that, like right now, are being distributed in areas of the world that are being struck by wars and famine and other things. Governments typically give them to people who are malnourished and underfed. So those are two reasons people buy MREs. And some people, and I don't think this is a good reason to buy an MRE, see them as long-term food storage, and in my opinion they really are not. Most of them that I've looked at, they have a shelf life of, I think, 2 to 4 years. The packaging looks pretty secure, but it's really not long-term packaging. Now, if some of these will last longer than what the shelf life says, but a lot of it depends on how you're able to store them and what temperatures. If you don't have a place to store your MRE in a light-free, cool temperature, they're probably not going to go much beyond the sell-by date. Some people will disagree with that, especially Steve, 1989. He'll eat an MRE that's 50 years old if he thinks he can get away with it. But if you're doing long-term food storage, this probably is not the way to go. And also, these things are expensive, folks. I'm on Amazon here, and I'm going to show you. Here's one, for example, Surplus 2022 Genuine Military MRE Menu 16 Chicken and Burrito Bowl, and it's today. It's like going on July 2024, so this one is probably getting close to being out of date, and they're asking $21.95, and it's reduced from $23.50. So in my opinion, this is an expensive meal. Now, if a guy's going to make a YouTube video, he'll probably pay whatever just to get a different MRE to show you, and I'll probably do some in the future. I'll probably get some of these MREs and do reviews on them, but it's not very cost effective. Here, if you can see, far right overall pick, Food Dude is selling 82nd MRE Surplus 2024, so these are current. I think he's selling them by the case. Yes, he is. I'm trying to see how many come in a case here, but a case of these is $129.98, and I don't know, these are different menus in here. Okay, so here this Food Dude is selling these MRE Surplus 2024 inspection U.S. meals ready to eat with heater box of MRE meals, 12 pack. He's selling them for $129.98, and there's 12 in this case. So you're getting an MRE for $10.83, which probably isn't that bad, because if you got a Prime account, they're shipped to you free. And if you were making a a video. And this is what I might do sometime here, is get a case of these things so I can review them and show you a little more detail about these MREs. There's different menus, so but if you buy them individually, let's go look for an individual MRE. I think I was showing you one when I started this. The price goes way up. Ammo Can Man, MRE's 2024 inspection date, random menus. A 2-pack is $34, so that's $12 a piece. A 4-pack is $60. Random. Oh, a 2-pack is $34, so that's $17 a piece. A 4-pack is $60.25, so that's about $12.50 a piece. And so you can see they're having to offset their shipping, but buying them one at a time is probably not a good situation. And buying a case of them, I mean, unless you're making YouTube videos and you want to sample them, I don't think it's a good idea, because like I said, I don't think these make good long-term storage. I think you can make your own MREs if that's what you want to have, is like a package of a meal that you can have in case the power goes down or something like that. Now these MREs will typically come with what's called an FRH, a field ration heater. That's usually a little plastic bag with chemicals in it. When you add water, you can put your main course in there and it will heat itself up. If you have a way to boil water, you can make your own homemade MRE, and you don't need the FRH, and you can save a lot of money. But anyway, another thing about long-term food storage, one of the positives for these MREs is they don't typically require a lot of water. And when you start storing freeze-dried food or boil-in-a-bag food, you have to also calculate how much water you want to store to be sure you can cook that stuff. And that's a whole nother video I'm going to make, water and long-term food storage. But for today's purpose, I'm just going to make myself a homemade MRE. I'm going to show you how much it cost me to make one out of individual pieces, and give you a calorie count. Typically a good MRE, I think, is going to have somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 calories, because you got to figure if you're feeding a soldier and he's taking this thing out in the field, he's got to have energy, so he's got to have enough calories to burn while he's out there in the field. So now let's take a look at the MRE that I have made for myself. Okay guys, so we're going to call this homemade dinner ration menu 1, roast beef and roasted garlic mashed potatoes. And when I get through with this presentation and taste test, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet that shows you calories and costs. I put this together for under $10, just under $10. And I know I showed you at the beginning of this meal where you can get an MRE for a little over $10, but you got to buy a case of them. And this is a single one I put together at my local HEB. So my menu item main is this Hereford Dippin' Ready roast beef with gravy, and it's a product of Brazil. So I guess this is somewhat a Brazilian MRE. Let's see, nutritional facts. 160 calories. Calories from fat, 30. Total fat, 3.5 grams. Saturated fat, 1.5 grams. Trans fat, 0 grams. Cholesterol, 30%. Sodium, 660 milligrams. Carbohydrate, 6 grams or 2%. Dietary fiber, 0%. Sugars, 0%. And it does have, you can stop the video and take a close look at this. It does have 26 grams of protein. So that's a good meal. You can microwave this, but a legitimate MRE would have an FRH, a field ration heater, or a lot of times you can boil it. So if you had a jet boil or you were out in the field, you could just boil this in some water, and that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to boil it and get it ready that way. Now, to accompany my roast beef, I'm going to cook this Idahoan mashed potato cup, roasted garlic, and this has 160 calories, 5% of your daily value, 2.5 grams of fat, 13% of your daily value, trans fat 0, cholesterol 0, sodium 39% of 890 milligrams or 39% of your daily value, total carbs 29 grams or 11% of your daily value, fiber 2 grams or 7% of your daily value, total sugars 2 grams, added sugars 2% of your daily value, protein 4 grams or 4% of your daily value, iron 0 grams or 4% of your daily value, potassium 410 milligrams. So between your main and the accent to your main, you're getting 30 grams of protein. That's not bad, folks. Now, I'm also, for a treat, and my bread, I'm going to have milk chocolate with butter, biscuit, and cocoa cream, Ritter Sport cracker, cookie cracker. That looks pretty neat. And when you're eating MREs, you don't want to get, I don't know what they call it, where you're just kind of like, you're eating too much of the same food. So you want to split these up and have something that kind of makes you look forward to eating it. But so far I'm looking forward to this. We'll see how it tastes. And here's the Welch's Food Snacks. Oh, by the way, this cocoa with cream has 170 calories, 13%, 10 grams or 13% fat, saturated fat 6 grams or 30% fat, cholesterol 2%, sodium 40 milligrams or 2%, the cholesterol was 5 milligrams, total carbs 7%, total sugars 15 grams, and protein 2 grams. So there's 32 grams of protein in this homemade MRE. And also the carbohydrates are going to help give you some energy. Now these Welch's fruit snacks come in various flavors. I don't know what these are going to be, but they're made out of real fruit. So it'll be the fruit portion of my MRE. And we're getting 70 more calories, 20 milligrams of sodium, 17 grams of carbohydrates, 10 grams of sugar, one more gram of protein. So the protein's adding up here, folks. And vitamin D. It's hard to read this, but it's got some nutrition in these fruit snacks. And then we got to have some coffee. So I'm going to have a Nescafe Classico coffee with my dinner, and some French vanilla, HEB French vanilla creamer. So let's get this out onto a tray, shall we? All right. So first we're going to take a look at these fruit snacks. Nice. Looks like a variety of flavors. We're going to take a look at these biscuits with cocoa and cream. That doesn't look anything like what the picture on the package says it's going to look like. I guess the cream must be inside. I don't see any biscuit. Ah, there it is. Nice. Okay guys, I'm going to boil some water and come back, and then we'll get the main out onto the tray. Okay, our food's done cooking, so let's first get our mashed potatoes ready. Let's see what those look like. And we're going to fill this up to the fill line. Next we're going to get our Nescafe coffee ready. Not much of a smell to that. It says to mix it with 6 ounces of water. Let's see. That's probably about 6 ounces. Going to add some of our French vanilla cream to our coffee. We're going to mix up our mashed potatoes. Get those out onto the tray. These are garlic roasted mashed potatoes. Don't want to waste any of those. Tasty. Let's take a sip of this coffee. Ooh, it's still pretty hot. We're gonna have to let that cool down. Now, about this roast beef. I boiled it in the bag for 3 to 5 minutes like they said. And it says on here, packaged under the inspection of the Brazilian government. And I got this probably about 2 months ago, which would have been April or May of 24. And this is set, best by date is 2024, and it was packaged November 22nd of 21. So when I got this, it was about 2/3 of the or 3/4 of the best by date. This product right here, if you can get it early enough after being produced, it would be somewhat suitable for long-term storage based upon 3 to 4 years. Anything past that, if you wanted to risk, seems to be packaged well, but so if you rotated this, it might be, you know, for me, long-term storage is more like 3 to 5 years. I'm not going to buy food and put it up for 25 years. I'm just not going to do that. I rotate my food. I try to look for early labels when I buy stuff, and I try to eat out of my pantry the stuff that's got the earliest date, so the stuff left in my pantry has the latest date. But let's get this out onto the tray. It does have a rip and ready seal, but I just cut it with the scissors. And let's see what that looks like. There you have it. Has a good roast beef smell to it. Let's take a taste. Now, a lot of your beef in the grocery store, unless it says produced in the USA, you might be getting some Brazilian meat in the grocery store. I don't know. This may be my first time to eat meat from Brazil, or it may not. That kind of creeped me out a little bit, but let's see how it tastes. Tastes like roast beef. Doesn't taste bad. The gravy, somewhat salty. Get a bite with some mashed potato. Doesn't seem to be any aftertaste hitting me. Has a pretty good chew. It's not mushy, and it's not a tough chew. So it seemed, you know, it had to have been cooked before they put it in that bag, so it seems like it was cooked properly. Actually, what I just did was a reheat. All in all, when mixed with the mashed potatoes, it's not bad. Not as good as maybe something I cooked in my slow cooker, but for $4.43, it would be nice to soak this up with some bread, but here's a piece right here I'm not going to eat. It looks kind of like some cartilage or something, but so far the beef is not very fatty, and it looks like good pieces of beef. Here's a bite of potatoes with no meat, just the gravy. I can see the fat floating around the edges of the gravy. Let me take a sip of this coffee if it's cooled off enough. That's pretty good. The way I have it mixed up with my creamer and sugar, that's not a bad cup of joe, folks. That Nescafe Classico. That was a good piece of beef. The only thing I would say, and they have to do this for the way it's packaged, and again, this is not refrigerated, so it sits out on the grocery shelf and you can put it in your pantry without having to stick it in the refrigerator. It a little bit salty, but most of your MREs are going to have a lot of salt. And considering I put this together for just under $10, it's not a bad meal, and it is filling me up. Of course, I don't eat like I used to. The chunks of meat are not too big, they're not too small. It's more like it's cubed. If I cook roast beef myself, it comes out of the crock pot in strips. I don't think it was browned at all. I mean, you know, grilled off. It was just cooked. So it doesn't have any grill marks or searing on it. I really didn't know you could get a product like this in the grocery store. I'm sure you've seen it in MREs. But for my purpose, to make my own homemade MRE, this was a nice main. The gravy goes well with my mashed potatoes, which are also just a bit salty. Take another sip of Joe. This is a thirst-provoking meal, but that coffee's pretty good. I'm trying to think about it. There's a secondary flavor in that coffee. I don't know what it is, but I like it. Let's try one of these pieces of fruit. This is going to remind you of gummy bear. I see. I just ate a prune. Here's a strawberry. Those are a nice sweet treat addition to this meal. You know, I'm not wanting to not finish this meal. I'm wanting to finish it, which is a good sign. It tastes well enough that I'm going to finish eating it. They have 3 other types of beef in these Rip and Ready, Hartford Rip and Ready entrees, so I believe I'll do some reviews on those. This is an MRE video, so with an MRE you have to take every component into consideration when you're rating it. Okay, so the potatoes, the mashed potatoes, I'm going to give them a 7.5. I have had some other instant mashed potato cups that I liked better. I don't know if it's the brand or the quote-unquote garlic, roasted garlic, which I do taste, but it's not just jumping out and saying, hey, this is really good. The roast beef component, and I have to take the gravy into account. There's another fatty piece there, but so far only 2 fatty pieces that I've pulled out. I just won't eat those. I'm sure that's part of what's measured in the nutritional facts. Anything that doesn't look quite right, I'm just taking it out of the meal. And I won't get to eat all this gravy. And so I'm going to grade this roast beef 7.5, and this is out of 10. And also, I would grade it a little bit higher if the gravy was just a little bit thicker. Again, the gravy is just the way it comes out of the package. There's nothing I added to it. Another sip of Joe. This is just coffee, the way I made it with French vanilla. Is just a notch or 2 below the vanilla latte I made with my Mr. Coffee Maker. I'm going to link that video right up here, because that's a good cup of coffee there. You know, for something that you can heat up in a microwave, or like I said, you could use your jet boil if you were out in the field, because this is an MRE after all. It tastes pretty good. There's another funky looking. I don't think that's fat. I think it's cartilage or something. The Brazilians might eat it, but I'm not going to. I just like the meat. I'll eat a little bit of fat. Not a lot, but some. I'm getting down to the end here of what I'm going to eat. I'm not letting any of those potatoes get away from me, even though they're not the greatest. They are, after all, a potato. And it's hard to mess up a potato. These could have been a little bit better, I think, but they weren't bad. Here's a decent piece of meat. So, overall, so far my homemade MRE is averaging 7.5, but I'll tell you, if you didn't have any other food around, this would probably taste pretty darn good. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I like this coffee the way I've made it. I've got to give who is this? Nescafe some of the credit, but I also give some credit to the HEB vanilla creamer, and of course the sugar, wherever that came from. Let's try another fruit. You know, it's always good when you eat something savory like this beef and potatoes to cleanse your palate with something sweet. There's a strawberry, and these are all mixed fruits. I think they're probably made for kids, but when I get through with this MRE, I'm going to show you the spreadsheet I made so you can see the details on every component, calories and cost. I think my cookies and cream melted a little bit from being next to this hot, but you can see the cracker inside the chocolate. I thought it was going to be the opposite way around. That tastes good. Has a little bit of crunch to it. Which saves it. If it was just chocolate, it would be too much. It's almost too much as it is. It's really too much chocolate for me. I'm going to set half of this aside and eat it later on. But it is a nice dessert. For this MRE. One of the things sorry folks, one of the things I had trouble finding to put this MRE together was any kind of a biscuit or bread component that had any kind of shelf life. You can find crackers pretty easy, but it's hard to find like if you go to the MRE market, the legitimate MRE market, you can find biscuits and breads. And you can even find sellers out there that are just selling packages of biscuits and breads. So you could buy some of that in bulk and add it to your own homemade MRE if you wanted to. I didn't want to, because I wanted this MRE to be something I put together out of the grocery store. So again, I'm going to set this aside. There's too much chocolate. It's okay. I would probably, it does say chocolate and cream crackers. It's not really dark enough chocolate for my liking. But it's okay. So I'm going to give that component probably a 6. I don't know if I've already rated this coffee, but I'm going to give it a 9. It's not very sweet now that I've just eaten that chocolate. I wish I could pick up on what that secondary flavor is. I don't know if it's some kind of a nut, a hazelnut, or whatever. I mean, coffee comes through, but it comes through with a secondary flavor. I am going to finish off these fruits. They're very tasty. Not many calories. Probably not a lot of sugar, but they're sweet. You can see where the chocolate biscuit melted from the heat of the potatoes and beef. Probably should have, well, I don't know where I could have put them. This tray probably did heat up. So folks, that's probably going to about wrap up my homemade MRE menu 1. Roast beef and garlic roasted mashed potatoes. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank y'all for being here. Hope y'all come back. Give us a thumbs up. And like the video. Subscribe. And hey, when you subscribe, click the notification bell so you know when we post new videos. God bless y'all, and have a great day. I'm glad to see you. Okay folks, so just to finish off this video, I made a spreadsheet. Calories, total calories for this meal were 560. Total protein grams, 33. That's not bad. And total cost of all the components were $9.95. So just wanted y'all to be able to take a look at that.